This afternoon, we have a special edition of the Fanatically Real Broadcast for you, as we are going to be doing the draft order show for the Loch Ness region, and we're going to get started in about 30 seconds. Hey, fellow fanatics, welcome to the Fanatically Real Broadcast, sponsored by Sport Management Solutions, your one-stop shop for all your athletic communication needs. Sean out there with us already. We are picking his draft order for his region here shortly. The Loch Ness region is a new region for us here at FSA. Pretty sure his wife was the one that actually got the opportunity to name the region this year. He is the general manager of the Naughty Dogs. I have his hat on right now, repping the team for him. So as it would always happen when we get ready to do these draft order shows, right? Technology failed me again. So I was unable to get my TV as my third monitor. So we're kind of winging it a little bit right now. But I do have a new layout for the dice on my screen that I'm going to be using. And I found a way to get the chart for you all to blow up just a tiny bit as well. Some things that we're having problems with, as you can see. Toby out there with us, the director online. Toby, how are you? Some of the things that we're still having problems with, the music at the beginning of the show, of course, our normal intro that has the recast music is not working. That is a problem with StreamYard, as they have finally caught up with everybody and realized that they were allowing free videos when they shouldn't have been. Hey, how are you? So we're trying to get past that. When I say we, I had Jason online with me last night as we're trying to work through getting OBS set up where we can do things that we used to do, like when our layout used to look like the Pardon the Interruption layout. One of the things that we're missing when we go with OBS is the live chat, like I'm doing right now. I'm popping you all's windows up. What we're looking for is a chat widget or bot that we can add to OBS, so the chats will just naturally pop up. Instead of just naturally popping up, I think what's going to end up happening is Paul says the real show's in 3 hours. Yeah, you got to wait a little bit longer for yours, Paul. What we would end up having then is just your guys' stream right through here of everything that you said. It wouldn't be a matter of me popping it up on the screen or not. You all that are sitting inside YouTube would get to see your chat just as you would here, where you guys can talk back and forth, and we don't have to pop it up on the screen anymore. It will be there as a permanent fixture. That's one of the things that we're working on, and then also to still try to get the page laid out so it looks great. Probably not all things that you all wanted to hear, but I wanted to let you know where we're trying to progress to. And it's not going to happen in these next 4 shows. This one at 1 o'clock, the next one, which is the Red Dragons region, at 4 o'clock, and then the 2 tomorrow at 1 and 4 p.m. East Coast time. But soon, as we get ready to roll into the 2025 FSA season for football, hopefully we will have all of that stuff worked out, and we'll be back to normal. So what I want to do is I want to explain to everybody who has not seen this before what we're going to do right now. This is how we select our draft order. It's something we came up with a couple of years ago. We've made improvements. Special help from the director out there, Toby Keller. We have made improvements with this. A little bit different art this year than what we normally do, as I'm trying to automate as many things as I can. So the board's going to look a little bit different, but still have the same functionality that's always had. So let me see if I can actually get the board to show up, and I will put myself down in the corner. So if you really still care about seeing me, you can, and then we'll see if we can't blow that up just a tiny bit more as we get ready to get started. So here is our draft order board. What you see is the name of the region at the top, Loch Ness. That's what we're getting ready to do the selection for. This is the 2025 WRL draft order for that region. The slots that you see 1 through 6 and 7 through 12 is the draft order for this region. What you see on the far right-hand side as far as action dice and final roll dice, and hopefully that's readable. I was told last night that the font was probably a little too fat and hard to read. You guys got to let me know if it is, then we'll make changes to make sure when we get ready to move over to the new setup on OBS that it's not like that anymore. And then you've got the two screens that are in the middle that are your dice screen. So here's how we do the draft order show. What I have in front of me is I have all 12 teams' logos printed off in black and white and cut out into 12 little squares. What we end up doing is we end up folding those up, and then we put them inside the Walter the Wizard 25th Anniversary FSA hat. We shake that hat up, and after we shake the hat up, we pull one of the teams from the hat. Whatever team that is, that logo gets put on the board after we roll the 12-sided dice, which is in the window on the left-hand side there with the dice windows. That team will go into that slot. After that team is put into that slot, then we roll the two 6-sided action dice that are on the right-hand side. The total of those two dice get compared against that action dice list on the right-hand side. And whatever that action dice list says that we do to the board, that's what we do to the board. We continue with this process until all 12 teams are on the board. Once the 12th team is on the board, then we roll two 4-sided die instead, two 4-sided dice, so we can get totals of 2 through 8. And that what you see in the bottom right-hand corner where it says final roll, that is how the board is affected with the final roll. So I am currently folding up all of the teams' logos right now. What I've done in years past is I've kind of forgot to leave a screen open so you all can see who's coming out of the hat. You all just kind of take my word for it whenever I pull a team out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly what I just had a second ago with me down in the corner. I don't know if it'll be big enough for you all to even see what the logo is, but I want to make it fair so everybody knows that I am legitimately pulling that team out of the hat. Hopefully you'll be able to see the board okay with the dice roll. Hopefully you can read the fonts there on the right-hand side for the action dice and for the final roll. And then hopefully we follow along, and we'll know hopefully in about 45-ish minutes where those in the Loch Ness region will be drafting when we do get to their draft, which should be happening sometime in the month of August. We always try to do our drafts in between the NFL's Hall of Fame game and then when the NFL actually starts their season. So Hall of Fame game this year is on the 31st of July. The season starts on the 4th of September. So we got to get everybody after this to get online and start putting together a schedule of when it's not good for them to do the draft. That way we can start putting dates together. I don't mind doing it on a weekend. I don't mind doing it during the week. What I don't want to do anymore is have multiple drafts going on at the same time like we've done in years past. So hopefully we can find 4 distinct different times and dates for everybody for the 4 regions that we will have this year. So, you know what? You're right. It's funny. Somebody else said the same thing to me the other day, Toby, but I don't want to do that. Like as cool as it might be to do the random generator, we would still be rolling a die for the action dice anyway. And I feel like that if we're doing this out of the hat, we're still having some nostalgia of how a lot of people do their draft orders in like their home leagues. They pass around a hat and everybody just pulls out a number, or do a double blind draw like we used to. We have 2 hats, one with logos, one with numbers, and we just match those up, and that's how you get it. So let's see, what did Paul say? Love that part of your inclusion and it never attempted to automate the team. Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but we'll follow along here anyways. All right, here we go. So we are going to take this hat, and we got the 12 teams that are in there. Everybody from the Loch Ness region is in there. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to pull out a team. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll the 12-sided die, and whatever team that is, they will go into that slot. I wish you all could see this side of the screen this year because technology failed me. I was unable to use my third monitor, or my TV as my third monitor. Hey, Erica, how are you? I see you out there. I'll pop you on the screen. Unable to use it, so I had to improvise with how I was going to do screens this year. Full screen to the left of the board that you all are seeing. Well, we'll be seeing here in a second. And then on my monitor, the StreamYard stuff right here in the middle. And then on the left is the 12-sided die table. And on the right is the 6-sided die table. And it's split pretty good. And it seems to be working fine over here. So hopefully it will make it through this show and the one at 4 o'clock. So let's get onto the board now. I did pull out the first team. First team is the Mad Scientist and Damien. We're going to roll the 12-sided die and figure out where he is going to go on the board. He is going to go in the number 7 spot, so we have to get the Mad Scientist pulled up here. There he is. We will unlock him. We will put him in the number 7 spot. Hopefully you all can see that moving along over there on your side. And the next thing we do then is we roll the 2 action dice to figure out what it's going to do to the board. Action dice A, that is an 8. 8 says we're going to roll a D12, and then we will replace the team if that position is already filled. But before we do that, we have to pull another team for the hat to find out if this team is going to go on the board in a new spot or if they're going to take over Damien's spot in number 7. The team out of the hat is the E-Thugs and Bruce Nakamoto. E-Thugs are going to go into the number 5 spot. So we got to get him turned on and moved up to the number 5 spot. So 2 teams on the board. And now we're going to roll some action dice. Action dice say 4. That means everybody's going to move up or down a spot based on the number that we're going to roll on the 12-sided die. If it's an odd number, everybody moves up 1. If it's an even number, everybody moves down 1. When you think about this, you have to think about this as a vertical list, at 1 being the top and 12 being at the bottom. So if everybody moves up, everybody would shift upwards. And if everybody moves down, they would shift downwards. Because this board does roll, if we had anybody in the 1 spot and we ended up rolling an odd and moved up, they would go to 12. And if we had anybody in the 12 spot and we rolled an even, they would move down and then move into the 1 spot. So it's circular. So we got the 4. We got to roll the 12-sided die to find out if it's even or odd, to figure out if anybody's moving up or down. Is an even number, which means everybody's moving down 1 position. So the E-Thugs go to 6, Mad Scientists go to 8, and we roll the action dice again. I say 6, which means we're going to swap teams' positions with a 2d12. So I got to add a second dice up here. And then the only way this gets affected is if one of these dice is a 6 or an 8. Let's see. It is not. We got a 4 and a 5. So what we will do is we will re-roll the action dice. Action dice say 9, which means we're going to swap teams' positions with 2d12. Same case, we're going to roll the 2 12-sided die on a left-hand screen. If we get a 6 or an 8, somebody is moving. An 11 and a 12, nobody's moving. We are going to roll the action dice again. Action dice say 5, means we're going to roll until an open position is filled. Means I got to take a name out of the hat. What this means, whenever it says until a position is filled, if we happen to roll a 6 or an 8, those positions are already filled, so we would have to roll again to get this team on the board. There are other ones on here that says that we will replace the team, but that is not the case with the number 5. Brady sits down to number 1, and Kelvin Ringgold is going on the board. We just got to figure out where he's going. Let's swap this back down to 1 12-sided die. They are moving into the number 1 spot. So as of right now, Brady sits down to number 1 in the number 1 spot. And then we will roll some action dice. Action dice says number 9 means we're going to swap teams' positions with a 2d12. So in this case, if something comes up with a 1, 6, or an 8, we will be moving teams around. We have a 4 and a 9, so nobody currently moving. We're going to go back over to the action dice. Action dice says 8. This is one of those ones that says we will replace a team if that spot is already filled. But before we replace that team, we have to get a team out of the hat. So let's shake this up. Let's see who we're going to pull out. Next team out of the hat is Horny Toads and Jamie Serta. So, Jamie, we will roll a 12-sided die because we have an 8. Even if this rolls a 1, 6, or an 8, you will go on the board, and then we will be replacing that team. It is number 11. So you are going to go on the board in number 11. So there is the Horny Toads going in at number 11. Is the screen too small for you all to see what team I'm actually pulling out, or are you able to see it okay? All right, so we got a third of the league up on the board now. We're going to roll some action dice. Action dice says 7. This is roll until an open position gets filled. So if we happen to roll a 1, 6, 8, or 11, we will roll again. This team will go on the board. We just got to figure out what spot they're going to go into. And that team is the Ohio River Monsters and Matt Furby. Matt is going to go into so number 11 is already taken up. Remember, this is 7. We roll until we get an open position. So we will roll again. He is going in the number 4 spot. So the Ohio River Monsters going into the number 4 spot. All right. Close enough. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 8. This is one where we could possibly replace a team if the number that we roll on the 12-sided die comes up. When we replace a team, that means the team that we're replacing gets pulled off the board and gets put back in the hat. Regardless, this team is going on Mantis Mayhem, and Matt Little is going on the board in, let's see what spot. That is rolled up on a 10, according to my screen that you all can't see here. So Mantis Mayhem going into the number 10 spot does not have to replace anybody. So Mantis Mayhem in the 10th spot currently. To roll some action dice. Action dice says 8, which means would be a possible replace if there is somebody in the spot, but we have to get a name to put on the board first. Team that we are going to put on the board is the new team, the Wagyu or Wagyu. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of this meat, which was the inspiration for it. But if you've ever had that good cut of beef that you're getting at Costco, that's what you got right here. Since this is number 8, we are going to roll and replace if we get a number that already has a team in it. They are going on the board in the number 12 spot. So let me find their thing here. So Wagyu is going up on the board. General manager is Patrick Smith. He is going in the number 12 spot currently. That puts us with, 7 on the board? Little over halfway filled with all the Wagyu. Is that how it is? Sean's schooling me over here. Wagyu. Okay, cool. Now I know. Number 11 means we're going to lock a team. So if we happen to roll on the 12-sided die, the 1, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, or 12, that team will get locked on the board. No matter what happens for the rest of the time, that is the slot that they are in. If we roll a number that does not have a team in it, then we will just go back and roll the action dice again. So 12-sided die says the number 2 team, which has nobody in it right now, so no lock on the number 2. Let's roll some action dice. We got a 3, which means we're going to pull a team from the board. We only pull a team from the board if we roll their number. So if we end up rolling a 1, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, or 12, that team will get pulled off the board. That is 11. So the Horny Toads are, yeah, I'm trying to figure out what are you talking about over there? Which Roadrunners are we talking about? So number 11 is getting pulled from the board. So that is the Horny Toads. He's getting put back in the on deck circle over here. We will also lock and make him invisible. And just so everybody knows, I'm going through the list of logos right now. The Horny Toads are going back in the hat. We will roll action dice to see what the next thing is that is going to happen to this board. It is 4, which means everybody's moving up or down one position based on an even or an odd number. The 12-sided die says we are an even number, so everybody is sliding down one position. So 1 goes to 2, 4 goes to 5. 6 goes to 7. 8 goes to 9. 10 goes to the newly opened 11. And the Wagyu goes up to number 1. Board is circular, remember, so that one at the bottom goes to the top. And now we are going to roll some action dice. Action dice says 6, which means we're going to swap 2 teams' positions with 2 12-sided die. Again, this only happens if we roll a number that is already filled on the board, and we are rolling a 7 and a 4. The number 7 team, which is the E-Thugs, will go up to the number 4 position. Nobody in that spot, so no direct swap, but a move for the number 7 team. And we are going back over to the action dice. Action dice says 6. 6 means we're going to do another swap with 2d12. So we're going to roll these 2 dice again. And we have an 8 and a 1. So the team that just found his way to the number 1 spot is now moving to the number 8 spot. And we're going to roll action dice again. Action dice say 5. Roll until an open position is filled. That means we will roll a single 12-sided die. We will continue to roll until a position that we roll is empty. And then we will put that team on the board. Team we're putting on there. Horny Toads going right back on the list. So Horny Toads, let's get 1 12-sided die. You are going on the board in an open spot. 8 just got filled with that last move, so we have to roll again. Number 4 is filled currently. That says number 12. We are going to put the Horny Toads in number 12, and they are back on the board. Time for some action dice. Action dice say number 12 means we are flipping the entire board. So what that looks like is 1 becomes 12, 2 becomes 11, 3 becomes 10, 9 becomes 4. Everything gets swapped, and it's funny because we've got people in positions that swap just about everything. So 12 becomes 1, 2 and 11 swap, 4 and 9 swap, and 8 and 5 swap. So lots of moving pieces there because of the board flip. Number 12. I don't even do that to me, Spence. Don't do that to me at all, man. Right, especially right after we got that 12. We got a number 8. 8 says that we're going to do a D12 and replace a team if that position is filled. We got 7 teams on the board, so we got a lot of things up there in case anybody wanted to know what ET was talking about. He's calling for Snake Eyes. For those who don't know, Snake Eyes, if you could see it up there, clear the board, which means everything we've just done up to that point is completely erased and gone. And we have to start all over again. Now, there were years previous where we would get multiple Snake Eyes. And we had to clear it once or twice, and we did away with that now. So after we get the Snake Eyes and it gets cleared once, if we get Snake Eyes again, then we do a 3-team swap. So team coming out is Totally Turtley, number 8. So she will replace a team if the position is filled. So she's going on the board with this roll no matter what the number is, and she is going in the number 9 spot, and that is the E-Thug spot. So we're going to move the E-Thugs off of the board, and we're going to lock him and clear him. And then Totally Turtley is going in the number 9 spot. Why won't she move? She is unlocked. Okay, Totally Turtley, why aren't you moving? What is going on with her? Why won't hers move? There we go. That was really weird. All right, so she's going in the number 9 spot. And then we have to put the E-Thugs back into the hat since he just got pulled from the board. Got to find him here. There he is. E-Thugs going back in the hat since he just got pulled from the board. All right, and we're going to roll some action. That's just weird. I wonder why her logo would not move. All right, number 11 means we're going to lock a team. Board's pretty full right now. We got 7 teams up there. So if we roll one of these numbers that are up there, a lock will get put on them and they will not go anywhere for the rest of the time. Even if we do a snake eyes, once a team is locked, they are locked. Even snake eyes doesn't pull them from the board. That is going to be number 2. So Matt is locked in at the number 2 spot. We're going to turn the little lock on. We're going to lock him up here in the number 2 spot so we know that he can't go anywhere. So other things that happen on the board that move people up and down, they will skip over Matt in those cases. Anything that has anything to do with a swap with the number 2, they don't get swapped either. So if we do another flip of the board, because Matt is locked, he would not trade with the number 11 position. 11 position just gets stuck right there. So Matt, you were locked in at the number 2 spot. Not sure how you feel about that. Congratulations. You at least know where you're at now. Let's roll some action dice. Even if we still get snake eyes at this point, Matt, you are in the number 2 slot. All right, we got 9, which means we're going to swap teams' positions with 2d12. Let's get 2 12-sided die up there. Let's see if we're moving anybody around or not. We are moving 10 and 7. Nobody in either one of those spots. So we go back over and roll action dice. Action dice say 6, which means we're going to do it again. It seems like every time we do it once, we do it twice right after that. So 2 12-sided dice. Again, let's see if we're moving anybody this time. This time it's 7 and 9. So the team that is in number 9, which is totally, we just finally got her on the board. She's sliding up to number 7, and we're going to roll some more action dice. She moved a lot easier that time, Sean. Not so stubborn. All right, we got a 7, which means we're going to roll into an open position is filled. So spot still open, 3, 6, 9, 10, 12. Next team out of the hat will go in one of those spots, of course, because when we get fewer and fewer spots, it takes more and more rolls to get somebody up on the board. Going on the board is Toby and the Terrifiers, his new branding for his redraft team this year. Let's get it down to 1 12-sided die, and because it is a 7, we will continue to roll until we get him in an open spot. Number 11 is filled. Roll again. Number 8 is filled. Number 3 is not filled, though. So the Terrifiers and Toby, the director, moving up to the number 3 spot. Toby, if you're out there, how you feel about that? I hope not. Anybody remember Delta? Anthony says last roll snake eyes. For those that were part of Delta for the defunct dynasty leagues, I don't want to do that again. There might be some cussing this time, like real ones that we don't get a chance to edit out like we did with the last one. 7, roll until an open position is filled. So another one of those ones, we've only got 4 spots left. So this one could take a while as we continue rolling it. He says, Toby says, I'm not getting too attached to the number 3 spot. Yeah. I mean, it's true, especially when it comes down to that last roll thing. All right. The New York Jackets and Gerard Petrino's team is getting ready to go on the board. Because this is a 7, we continue to roll until a spot is filled for him. Number 12 is open right now. So the New York Jackets is going right into the number 12 spot. So we get him to move without any problems. All right. So we should have 3 teams left. We got 3 spots left on the board. Sean, I haven't seen you come out of the hat yet, I don't think. So let's roll some 6-sided dice, the action dice, and see what we get. We get a number 10, which is a 3-team swap. So this is how the 3-team swap goes. We will roll 3 12-sided die, and we will basically read them from left to right as they lay on the board. The number 1 moves to the number 2 spot. Number 2 moves to the 3 spot. 3 moves to the number 1 spot. If we have duplicates, you'll see how it plays out. We will talk you through it. But we're going to roll 3 12-sided die. Here's what we got. We've got 5 goes into 7, 7 goes into 10, and 10 goes into 5. So 5 will move into 7. So Wagyu is going down to the 7 spot. 7 is going to the 10 spot, and there's nobody in 10 to go to the 5 spot. So there was a little bit of movement there with the 3-team swap. And Gerard says, dang, finally. I didn't know if you were out there watching or not, brother. Good to see you on. All right, we got 3 spots left. Let's roll some action dice and see what we get. Number 6 says we will swap teams' positions with 2d12. A little bit easier when it's only 2. Let's roll these 2 12-sided die, and we get a number 11 and a number 10. So totally just moved a little bit. Now she's moving again. Brady sits down to number 1, is moving up to the 10 spot. Let's roll some action dice. Damien out there as well saying snake eyes. 9 is swap team's position. See, there it goes again. Right after we do it once, we're doing it again. It's rolled 2 12-sided die, and we have a 12 and an 11. Totally just moved, and she's moving again, going down to the 12 spot. Jacket's moving up to the 11 spot. Action dice. Action dice say 12 means we're flipping the entire board again. Remember, number 2 does not move. So Gerard, you just got put in the 11 spot. You're stuck there. But 1 and 12 swap. So totally goes all the way down to 12 and is now in the number 1 spot. 10 and 3 will flip-flop. 4 will move into the number 9 spot. 8 will move into the number 5 spot. And 7 will move into the number 6 spot. And that's how you flip a board whenever you get 12. The turtle is definitely on the move. She's gone from, 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 to 1, I think, in the last couple rolls. All right, we got an 11. We got another lock to go on a team. Board is pretty full. We're going to go down to 1 12-sided die and see if we get one of these spots and see if we're locking another team. We are locking number 6. So Wagyu is now stuck in the number 6 spot. Let's move that up there. So anything else that happens to the board, number 6 is not going anywhere either. So we got 2 and 6 locked. Yeah, I couldn't get them going initially, and now they won't stop moving. What does Damien say? Oh, try to cock block me. We need some movement. Where are you at right now? You're in the number 9 spot. All right. All right, let's go to some action dice and see what we get here. Oh, my God. I knew it was coming. Son of a... All right, well... Other than Matt staying on the board and Wagyu staying on the board in the number 2 and the number 6 spot, all the rest of you, son of a, are going back in the hat. We fold you all up. Make sure I got you all in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 10 of you go back in the hat. I'll get the board all set back up so we can pull the teams that are not locked, put them back in the on-deck circle. I love that you guys get a kick out of the snake eyes. I just was hoping that once we would get through this without damn snake eyes. It doesn't happen very often. I thought it was pretty crazy that we had 2 12s already. I'm glad you all are happy. Let me go through this so I can show everybody. Anthony's happy. Gerard is happy. AT's happy. Sean's happy. Everybody's happy except for me. All right, let me get you guys pulled off the board here. All right, Horny Toad's gone. New York Jacket's gone. Terrifier's gone. No more cock blocking. Damien's gone. The Ohio River Monsters are gone. Brady sits down to number 1's gone. And I'm sure Ty is upset because after all that movement and finally getting in the number 1 spot, she's now off the board too. Erica said they jinxed you. Yeah, this happens all the freaking time. I hate it. I'm glad you all love it. If you like it now, come back in a couple hours because we'll do it again. All right, so let me close all of these guys up that are over there and lock them back up. Oh, wait a minute. I got to leave Matt on there. He's already locked. New York Jackets, I need to take you off. Who do I still need to take off the thing? Totally Turtley. Wagyu stays. That should be Terrifiers are still sitting there. He is terrifying looking too. All right. So it's almost like it didn't happen. So what we're going to do is just like we normally do when we start the show, like we haven't pulled a team out of the hat, no action dice. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the first team out of the hat, and we're going to roll a die, and we're going to put them on the board, and then we'll roll our first action dice. It's the Horny Toads. At least 2 were locked, Erica says. Sometimes that doesn't really help much, though, to be honest with you. All right, so Horny Toads, they will go on the board. We will roll until we get an open spot. You got to treat this like it's a number 7. They are going to go in the number 4 spot. So Horny Toad's been on the board, off the board again. Now they don't want to move either. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Horny Toads going to the number 4 spot. And now we're going to roll some action dice. Action dice says number 7. It means we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pull a team out of the hat. We're going to roll the die and make sure that we get a number that they can go into. So if it's a number that already has somebody in it, like 2, 4, or 6, we will just roll again. All right, Brady sits down to number 1. It's getting ready to go back on the board. They are going to go in the number 11 spot. I feel like that's like right where they were when we pulled them off the chart or off the board a second ago. So Brady sits down to number 1, going to number 11. Let's see, what am I missing over here? This is going to keep going and roll. That's why we ended up doing, Paul, that's why we ended up doing away with the multiple snake eyes, because that one year, I think it was 2 or 3 times that we got snake eyes, and it just kept pulling it from the board. Somebody else was like, let's do away with that. And I said, thank you for that idea. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad for that. Oh, G, you were number 11. That's right. All right, let's roll some action dice. All right. 6 means we're going to swap 2 teams with 2d12. Don't have a lot of teams on the board right now. 2 of them locked anyway, so don't see much happening here. 6 can't go anywhere, so they can't roll into 1, so we go back to the action dice. Oh, that's 2 and 1. 2 is locked as well. It sure looked like it was stopping on 6 on my side. So 2 is locked as well. They can't go anywhere, so let's roll some action dice. Action dice say 7. It means that we're going to put a team on the board. We'll continue to roll if one of the spots is open until this team, whoever we're about to pull out, goes on the board. That is going to be Totally Turtley going back onto the board again. Let's get 1 die for her. Let's roll it. It's a 7, so we'll continue to roll until she gets up on the board. 11 is already filled, so we will roll again. 7 is empty, so Totally Turtley, as long as she moves this time, we'll go into the number 7 spot. And she moved this time. Good deal. All right. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says number 10 means we're going to do a 3-team swap. So not a lot of teams on the board, but still enough on there that might move some people around. So again, reading dice from left to right. The number 2, which is locked, would move into the number 7. That can't happen. But number 7 cannot move into number 6 either, because that one's also locked. So all of that for the triple roll, nothing happens. Back to the action dice. Action dice say 6 means we're doing 2d12 this time. Let's roll 2 12-sided die. And we have 6 and 2, which is crazy. The 2 teams that are locked that can't do anything. Let's roll action dice again. What are the chances of that happening? All right, number 5. Both teams locked. I know, right? That's crazy. Number 5 means we're going to roll until a position is filled. We got to pull one out of the hats. This is one of those ones we will continue to roll. If we roll a number that already has a team in it, we will roll again to get this team on the board. That team is Damien the Mad Scientist going back on the board again. We will roll until we get a spot to put him in. Damien, you are going to go. Number 11 is popular. It's already filled, so we have to roll again. Number 8 is open, so let's put you back on the board, and let's put you in the number 8 spot. Mad Scientist in number 8. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice says 6, which means we're doing 2 D12 swap. Let's pull up 2 die and roll those. Got a 10 and an 11. Nobody in the 10, but 11 does move up to 10. So Brady sits down to number 1, is moving closer to the number 1 spot. We got number 5, means we're going to roll until an open position is filled. Let's see how many we got. 6 on the board, so half the board is filled. 6 more teams still left in the hat. We are going to put E-Thugs on the board. E-Thugs are roll until an open position is filled. Let's get 1 die. And if somebody's in that spot, we roll again. Number 2 is locked, so we have to roll again. Number 1, E-Thugs going into the number 1 spot for the moment. E-Thugs, number 1. Bruce, I don't know if you're out there watching or not, but congratulations, you're currently sitting in the number 1 spot. Let's roll those dice again. We got an 8, which means we're going to roll a single D12. This time, if we roll a number where a team is there, we will replace that team unless we end up rolling one of the locked teams. If it's a locked team, that we just roll again. All right, we got the Ohio River Monsters going on a board. The Ohio River Monsters could possibly be replacing a team or moving into an open spot. That is number 2. It is locked. We will have to roll again. Number 9, nobody is in that spot. He goes on the board in that spot. The Ohio River Monsters going in the number 9 spot. All right, we have 4 spots left. 4 spots left. 2/3 of the board. Let's roll some action dice. That is a 6, which means we are doing swaps with 2d12. Let's roll that. We are swapping 8 and 2. Of course, 2 is locked, so we will go back to the action dice. Action dice says 7. Means we're going to roll until an open position is filled. So this means we have to roll a 3, 5, 11, or 12. As you know, when we're looking for specific numbers, that takes a little bit longer sometimes. But that means this team is actually going on the board too. Finally, Sean, we get the Naughty Dogs for the first time. I'm getting to touch them today. Sean, you're going to end up in 3, 5, 11, or 12. We just might have to roll for a little bit to get you there. All right, number 8 is taken. 3, 5, 11, or 12. There's a 6. There's the 11. It's showing up as 9 on my side of the screen, though. I'm going to take it as what it says that it is, not what we think it is, and I'm going to roll again. There we go. Now we can legitimately put you in the 5. Naughty Dogs going to the number 5. Should look like 11 was on top, but I don't know if that's the physics of the way it stops up there in the corner or what, but the screen up here said it was a number 9. All right, back to the action dice. Action dice say 11. We might be locking our 3rd team on the board. Good for those guys that don't have to worry about that final roll. But let's see if we are locking a 3rd team. It would be the number 1 team. So, Bruce, if you're out there watching, you are now the number 1 pick, and you cannot go anywhere. 1 and 2 are locked. We have 3 more spots to fill. Let's roll some action dice. Action dice say 6, which means we're swapping with 2d12. Let's roll the 2 12-sided die, and we got an 8 and a 2. We know 2 can't go anywhere, so we'll re-roll the action dice. 8, so we will do a d12, and we will replace a team. Unless we get 3, 11, or 12, or one of the 3 locked teams now, we will be replacing a team. That team that is going on the board is the New York Jackets. Let's get 1 12-sided die queued up here. Let's see what we get for you, Gerard. That is a number 9. So you are going to replace the Ohio River Monsters. So let's get you queued up here. Let's move you over to the number 9 spot. Let's get the Ohio River Monsters out of there. Let's bring you down into the number 9. Let me find the Ohio River Monsters team. Here is his team going back in the hat. 3 spots left, 3 names in the hat. Action dice. Action dice says 4. We're going to move everybody up or down 1 spot. Remember, the locked teams don't go anywhere, so people jump over these locked teams. So let's roll an even or an odd and see which way we're going with everybody. It is an odd, which means everybody's moving up 1 spot. 1 and 2 can't go anywhere, so we're going to start right here. 4 goes to 3. 5 goes to 4. 7 will skip, move up to 5. 8 will go to 7. 9 will go to 8. And 10 will go to 9. And now the final 3 spots that are open is 10, 11, and 12. Action dice says number 7, which means we're going to put a team on the board in the 10, 11, or 12 spot. We have to roll until one of those numbers come up. And we are putting who on the board? We are putting the Terrifiers on the board in 10, 11, or 12. Toby, it could take a while to get you there. There's 9. There's 10. That didn't take too long. Make sure it does say 10 on my side. It does. So Terrifiers are going in at the number 10 spot. 2 spots left on the board. 2 teams left in the hat. One of them being the Ohio River Monsters that I'm going to hide now. And we're going to roll some action dice. Action dice say 7, which means we are going to roll until a position is filled. One of the last 2 teams that are in the hat will go into 11 or 12. Could take a while to roll this one. We'll help the Ohio River Monsters going right back on. I feel like there's one team that hasn't been seen yet. Is that the one that's still in there? Who's missing from the board? Northern Nightmares. We have not pulled Kevin out the entire time, even with everything that's happened. So Kevin could be possibly the last one out of the hat. We need to get an 11 or 12 to put the Ohio River Monsters on the board. 9, 3. Yeah, Kevin's the last one. Hasn't been on the board or even pulled out of the hat at all. It's like Home Alone and you left him. That's funny. We need an 11 or a 12. This could take a while. 11 or a 12. And the reason we just don't pull Kevin out of the hat and then put him on there. There's 12. All right, so we're putting the Ohio River Monsters in the number 12 spot. It's because when we get ready to roll these next action dice, what is it doing? Now it doesn't want to move. There we go. It was locked. All right, we're putting him in the 12 spot, leaving the number 11 spot open currently. Let's roll some action dice to see if anything else happens. That is a 9, which means we're going to swap with 2d12. So that's why Kevin's not out of the hat yet, because we got some more possible changes to make. The number 1 and the number 1, that doesn't do anything, so we're rolling action dice again. Number 7, that means that we would be rolling until the team gets up on the board. So Kevin's the last one out of the hat. No reason to continue rolling for the 11 spot. That's where he would just go because we could roll forever until we get it. But Northern Nightmares, first time out of the hat all day today, and we're going to put them in the number 11 spot. I love his logo. I'm glad we worked on that together. So, yeah, man, you hadn't seen the board at all until just now. And we've already gone through pulling people off the board, flipping boards, snake eyes, and that's the first time you've been out of the hat today. So that's crazy. All right. So we have, or are now, down to the final roll, which is 2 4-sided die. I have the 6 pulled off the screen. You can't see it on your side, see it on my side. I got it queued up for the 2-4. Let's go over the final rolls. If we roll a 2, we will swap 2 teams. A 3, swap 3 teams. 4, swap 4 teams. If we get a 5, we move everybody up or down 1 position based on an odd or an even number. If we get a number 6 and it says flip a row with a roll, this is what that looks like. We will roll the 12-sided die, and depending on if we get 1 through 6 or if we get 7 through 12, that row will do like what we did earlier when we flipped the whole board, except for it only happens inside that row. So let's use the bottom row because we have no locked teams on there. If we roll a 7, if we roll a 6, 7 becomes 12, 8 becomes 11, and 9 becomes 10. Now, if we roll a 7 and it says flip both rows, we will do the same thing. So really not a lot happens up in the upper one because the only one that can be swapped is 3 for 4 because 1 and 6 can't swap and 2 won't swap with 5. So flipping the whole board does kind of like what we just mentioned or what already happened earlier where 1 becomes 12, but the locked teams don't move anywhere. So all that being said, let's go ahead and roll these 2 4-sided die that are queued up. Here is our final roll. Let's see what this final board looks like. We ended up with a 5. So there is a 4 and a 1, a 5. Pretty simple. Just move everybody up or down 1 position. So we're going to roll a 12-sided die. Again, if it's odd, everybody moves up 1 position. If it's even, everybody moves down 1 position. Again, board is circular. Locked teams don't move. They will get skipped over. So in this case, let's use the example. If we get a even number and everybody moves down 1, the Ohio River Monsters, who are sitting in 12 right now, will actually move up to the number 3 spot because he will slide down and he will skip over 1 and 2 and move into the 3 spot. And then everybody just shifts from there. So let's see. I've got 1 12-sided die queued up. Let's see if it's odd or even. Sean's asking for odd. It is even. which means everybody moves down one position. So I will move the Ohio River Monsters up into that number 3 spot to get him ready for that. Kevin, you move down to 12 after finally getting on the board. Terrifiers move down to 11. Brady sits down to number 1, goes to 10. New York Jackets goes to 9. Mad Scientists go to 8. Totally Turtley cannot move to 6, but she will move to 7. Sean will then move to 5. Horny Toads will move down to 4. And the Ohio River Monsters, just like I had said in the example, will move up to the number 3 spot. So let me get these fixed up a little bit better so they look prettier. What we'll do is we will do a screenshot if Chris hasn't done it already, because I feel like every year he beats me to it. We will get this posted in your channel's chat on Discord, and we'll also put it in the main WRL window. And then we will get ready to do this again in about 2 hours. He said, let's do the real thing now. What the actual draft. If you guys want, mocking can start right now, but the most important thing is for us to make sure that we get a date and time locked in for your guys' draft. So now that you got the order, get inside your Discord channel, start talking about when dates are not good for you. I know Kevin, if he's still out there, he had a cruise he was going to be on. So there's certain days that he can't make it. So what I would like is, unless it's too personal for you to, give dates, just kind of say, hey, not available if you don't want everybody to know. If you want everybody to know because it's a big, important thing like going on a cruise that's probably already paid for, go ahead and put it out there so everybody knows why you can't make it. But that's it. See the board one last time. Put my face back up here. And again, we will do this again in about 2 hours. We will do this at 4:00 p.m. East Coast time as we got the Red Dragons coming up next. Take a screenshot of this, send it over on Discord shortly. You all have a great rest of your Saturday. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. Red Dragons, you're on deck next. We'll see you in 2 hours.